Okay, let's start and see where this takes us. I have very funny setup here with the lights and everything and the camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. Focus seems fine. So the tools we'll be using here are this piece of paper that we'll cut into pieces and stuff it here so everything stops moving and we can actually work on it. An X-Acto knife, should be sharp enough. And then probably just those to pick up the screen. Now, important thing, I mean, none of those have warranty or anything like it for quite some time, obviously, so don't worry about that. But after you remove this piece of glass, same as with removing piece of glass from your optics setup on any camera, this camera will stop focusing to infinity. So in theory, you should replace this glass with some other piece of glass, the same thickness. I think it's 0.6 millimeter, if I recall correctly. Also, obviously, if something comes here, any dust or something, it will land directly on the sensor, starting now. Well, not now, after I remove it. So you have to be much more careful about keeping this whole area clean. Other than that, let's see how it goes. So I'm going to cut something like this and see what happens. I have just a few millimeters of space there. So how do we do with 3 layers? Oh, that's not going to work. But I think 3 layers may be enough. So I'm just going to actually cut this. No, 3 layers is actually too much, I think. This is just some, what you would call a cardstock, but it's just leftover cardboard that I had. Okay, that's nice. Let's grab another one. See, I will completely lock myself out of having any reasonable access to this. So actually this is very thin there, so I'm going to make it as small as possible. See everything mostly from the top, so you don't see how thick those are, but they are in fact, now I mangled this too much. Let's try this again. So I'm just bending a very small piece of paper. Till I have this small bit. So I don't want to have massive something massive like this. I will have to make a cut along the top line, so that's not going to work for me. Let's call this trash. Grab 1, 2, 3 more pieces and chuck them in there. So again, the same process. So this hole on both sides is about 1 millimeter. So you could conceivably straight up just use like a lot of normal paper. Probably not the best idea, but you could. And what I'm using is basically just thick paper. Look how thin this is. Okay, nice. Okay, do I need something for the bottom? Will this still try to move? No, okay, I don't need anything for the bottom. Lovely, because that would be really messing up my spacing. I forgot one thing. Let me grab it. I had special snips for the cable later. I don't know where they are. So that's that. Fine, let's see what we can achieve here. This is properly attached, yes. Okay, something is happening. I am producing dust at this stage because quite obviously I'm not cutting anything. I am just scoring it. And scoring means basically scratching. And because I'm recording this, I don't see that much. I may have to switch off recording so I can get closer. Oops. Yeah, let me pause it so I can do a few more steps without the camera in my face. It's going quite well, not amazing. I have more missed scratches than I would like to see, to be honest. The plastic is quite soft, as others said in various forums, but the problem is that you really have to like put a bit of strength to scratch at all. But obviously if you go over, then the next scratch wants to wander too. So you could be very careful and just continue doing this very, 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 very slowly, or you put a bit more strength, and if you think this will work and then you go too far. I'm feeling like maybe the best way is to scratch half, half, half at the good angle, then turn it half of what you need, and again and again and again, and then hopefully you will connect them after you have initial lines. I will see you in a moment when I'm slightly farther along the lines. I've been at this maybe 5 minutes that you haven't seen or something like this. It's not taking very long time. I am being careful. I don't want to like stab through or something. That would destroy it, and it was not massively expensive, but it was quite a bit of money, so careful. Okay, we are mostly done. I could probably grab and rip quite a bit of this, but what we've been doing this whole time, we were cutting the piece of plastic that mounts this glass. So now that this is mostly cut off and I could lift it, when we are done we'll be able to lift this piece of glass, assuming we cut enough, because if I haven't cut enough, that may be a problem. But let's cut a bit more. I think I still have some plastic here and here in the corner, because corners are hard and I don't want to fully mangle it. You are seeing it in quite a zoom, but obviously all the cuts I'm making, this is whole thing is smaller than my finger. So let me get back to it. I really didn't make it easier for myself by trying to record this. That would explain why there aren't any recordings of this on YouTube. You do, after all, do this only once for your camera. So this is the bit I removed. It's a thin piece of plastic, maybe it's less than a millimeter thick, I think. The blade didn't have to go very far in to remove it. Now, the problem we have here is obviously I may not have cut enough. Should I have cut enough? Even more? So this corner, let me make sure you can actually see what's happening. This corner moves. You can see. So this is completely loose. This also moves. Actually, nothing is holding it except something in this corner. And I cannot really like start pushing stuff inside because there is a sensor right behind it that we really don't want to damage. Also, like, you know, I'm touching piece of glass ER filter with sharp things, but it's trash. There's nothing it can be used for really, especially not in my case. And what I'm trying to figure out is I need to get under it to remove it. It's not going to fit through the whole iCut. Maybe it should have been slightly bigger, but also there's almost no space here. This is like a millimeter. So cutting this wouldn't be an amazing idea. And I feel like, no, nothing is holding it. None of the spaces, all of this is loose. So what is holding it? Maybe the other side of the frame? Well, let's have a look. I will get back to you. So it turns out the hole had to be bigger. I had to look incorrectly at the previous pictures I've seen from people. There was another piece we have to remove from the bottom to expose this white setup here. And from here we will continue trying to remove this whole thing. Okay, so turns out this, what I had and thought was sharp, actually wasn't. I put a new one, so much sharper. Now, this slightly broke, which is fine. I just don't want to have anything on the sensor, so I have to be careful still. But turns out you are supposed to cut out significantly more than I originally thought. I must have really misread this whole thing. So in the end, I had to cut much more. Okay, and now it's all out. Amazing. So this is the small bellow that was behind there. I guess I should keep it if I, oops, out of view, if I want to ever put some glass there. Reasonably speaking, I probably won't, but I will put this on the side in case I need this. Let's remove the glass. Haven't stabbed myself with anything horribly sharp yet. So this is the filter, and the filter is attached with a ribbon and this is the correct scissors I was supposed to have, and I don't. So let's just do this. So this is the filter we just removed. Let's go away. Now let's see. I definitely will have some dust on the sensor. Luckily, we can easily fix it. Okay, this is our sensor, and I think we are done. So you can see it better. So this is the sensor. Looks clean. Perfection. Now here's the problem. Here's a funny thing. Some funny things. Obviously, I assume we could have just fully removed this, but there is no way to do. Oh no, this is okay. So some of it is just stabilization for the sensor. Interesting. I assume. Okay, so maybe we couldn't remove it. I assume we could have like unscrewed it if we would disassemble the whole camera, but the whole reason why we are doing this whole mess is not having to open the camera, because that's massive pain. So this whole thing, this recording is at this moment 14 minutes. I may do some cuts in the middle, we'll see. Let's say that this took me extra 10 minutes on top of this, maybe 15, hard to say. The manual says to leave 1.2 millimeter on all sides and cut everything else. I've seen photos where both of those dingy bits were left over and someone managed to remove this. And I thought he had more space than here. Maybe he didn't do this for Q10. I think he did. This is the Q10 model. This is definitely less than a millimeter, not even 1.2. This is definitely less than a millimeter. If I wanted to remove the filter without breaking it, I would need to cut even more. So when you are doing this, my suggestion is, well, find all the manuals online you can and make your own decisions. But if I would be making this again, I would first of all start with a sharper bit, but I would shave almost literally everything. I don't see a reason why I couldn't remove this whole top, to be honest. I don't want to cut anything under, but this whole top can be gone. So massively simpler process, and you can be very careful. It is quite soft and less stress if you just do it lightly. Now, I'm going to put on a lens, the only lens I currently well, not the only lens I currently have, the lens I have that doesn't even have a bloody top. I'm going to take some photos and post them after it, straight from the camera as it is, without any extra adjustments, without ER filter, without anything. I'll just take a bunch of photos and we will see how they look without any fancy settings, white balance, nothing. And that's all basically.